Okay, so I'm sure you've heard the age-old cliche, you never get a chance to make a first impression. And that's true, whether you're negotiating, having a meeting, giving a presentation, wherever you are, whoever you're meeting, you just get that one chance at the very beginning to make a really great impression on them. So how do you do that? How do you greet? And also when it comes to shaking their hand, you may or may not be aware there are power shakes that you can utilize. But I want to go through the basics and also I want to introduce the cultural element to it also. Okay, so when you meet a person for the first time, typically in any negotiation, it's expected that you shake hands with your right hand, obviously. Whether it's a man or a woman, regardless of their age, shake hands. Everyone shakes hands differently. Some people have a firmer shake, some people have a more relaxed shake. I'd just like to share what I do that I feel works, and it's worked for over 20 years in business. And this is when I meet women, for example, I'll shake their hand, but I'll sort of give a little gentle bow as well as a sign of respect and humbleness. Same as well if I'm meeting, for example, a top level executive, CEO of a company, I'll do the same thing. I'll shake hands, but I'll also give a bit of a sort of submissive bow. And this is something that I picked up from Japan and also doing business in Asia, especially in Japan. There is a little bit of a bow of submission when you're showing respect to somebody. And I think that's great. So I use it in those situations. Now, if I'm meeting somebody of a similar level, for example, the same position, my counterpart in the negotiation itself, I'll probably sit up or stand up straighter. Usually, if I'm shaking hands with someone, I'll stand up. It's easier to sort of manage the distance in between you. And also, I'll match their shake. So, for example, if they give a strong shake, I'll give a strong shake as well. If it's slightly more relaxed, not wishy-washy. You don't want your hand to be like a wet flannel. You want to have a firm shake, but the degree of strength, try and match your counterpart. With a lady, I'll typically give a more gentle shake. And maybe even, sometimes the ladies will just sort of put their hand there and you have to grab it, in which case I will, but it'll be far more gentle. But saying that, some women have stronger shakes than most men. I've shook hands with women before and they give a very strong, powerful shake. So yeah, match the counterpart when you're shaking their hands. Now, for people, Italy, France, for example, they have a culture of sort of kissing on the cheeks. And that, in my opinion, it's up to you, depending on how you want to play it. But even as an English person with French friends, even now, and I've known them for years, the kissing thing is a little bit awkward sometimes. As an English person, we do kiss on the cheek when we meet people. But it's usually one kiss on the side of the cheek, but the French go in for two kisses. Some cultures go in for three, and a Chinese or an Asian person would just be like overwhelmed. I don't think they'd realize, or they wouldn't know initially what to do. They'd probably panic. So my advice is not to do that. A shake of the hand is better. In all honesty, when people meet informally in Asia, there is no sort of personal contact. There's no shaking the hands. For example, if I see friends in the UK, I'll shake hands with my friends. Like if I haven't seen them in a while, or I'll give them a hug. That doesn't happen in Asia. There's no contact, even if they haven't seen each other in a long time. So there's less personal contact. So be aware of that. Shake of the hand is pretty much all you'll need to do. Okay. Now, having said that, if you do go to a culture that is more touchy-feely, they might push that boundary a little more, then go with the flow. But from your perspective, unless you're part of that culture, if you're coming from, for example, Europe, USA, Australia, UK, stick with a handshake. It's safer all around. Okay, so greetings apart from that, it's really good to know some of the language of the people that you're negotiating with. So, for example, if you are going to China or Japan, learn the basics. a little bit more than just, ni hao ma, hung gao xing jian dao ni, a little bit more than just the very basics. Try and learn like a sentence that is saying, it's an honor to be here. Thank you so much for your time. I hope we can reach an agreement today and have a long and prosperous future. Something like that. Type it into ChatGPT, get the translation, learn it. Don't worry, even if you get it wrong, they will appreciate the fact that you actually used it. So try and do that if you can. When it comes to the end, the greetings, saying goodbye as well, same thing. A little bow, maybe when you're shaking hands with the people. Thank them for their time. Always thank for people's time. They'll appreciate it. Even tell them how much you appreciate their time. And also, say something along the lines of, yeah, I look forward to a fruitful relationship with you. I look forward to keeping on communicating with you. It's been a pleasure today. Say something really positive rather than just sort of shaking hands and getting ushered away out of the building. The beginning and the end are crucial. The beginning will set the standards for the negotiation itself. It'll also make them warm to you. But the goodbye greeting when you've finished, regardless of how the negotiation has gone, maybe you're not feeling happy about the situation or whatever, but make sure that, as I've mentioned, try and remove emotions from it. Think of it as a game that you're playing and you're happy that you've made this relationship and you want to keep in contact with this person, whatever the outcome was. Always be thinking, okay, this hasn't gone well today, but I've built a bridge here, and show that in your greetings. Okay, see you in the next lecture.